Hi, this is Jason's Best Pick Noms 2024. Just my thoughts, because you all asked for it. You email me over and over again. I love the emails. I read every single one, even when my eyes are bleeding. Here we go. Let's start. American Fiction. Was excited to see it because the trailer was great, but it might have shown a little too much. It was funny and heartfelt. Sterling K creates another likable character, very different from This Is Us. It also felt a little incomplete. It's like I wanted more. I think I wanted like one or two more scenes. I really like the ending. I do kind of wish they would have figured out a way where I didn't see it coming. Unless I'm just like really smart. I'm not saying that's the case, but maybe we're speculating now though. Overall, I liked it. And I'm a huge fan of satire, and this is the type I love. Comedic satire. I guess all satire is comedic. Anatomy of a Fall. This is a French courtroom drama, and I want to point out that a jazz rendition of 50 Cent's PIMP is a piece of evidence in this movie. Also stayed traditional, didn't really take too many turns outside of a courtroom drama type of movie. There was a scene with an animal that made me a little mad. I didn't like the way they went about it, and I enjoyed it, but it was not my favorite. I mean, I'm not saying it's not a good movie. It just doesn't feel like all the awards it won. I feel like some of those awards should have gone to some other movies. Barbie. I mean, first off, let me just say I love Greta Gerwig as a director, writer, and actor. I want to be her friend. I look up to her. I want to be her. I want her to want to be me, even though she doesn't know who I am. I love Greta Gerwig. You know, maybe a little crushing on her, but I know she's married. Okay, so it's not gonna happen. But this movie was smart, clever, funny, and existential. And it's like a big budget indie movie with absurd, crowd-pleasing, fun laughs. And I really liked how it had the full spectrum of humor. I really enjoyed how it was super stylistic. This was one of my favorite movies of 2023. It was not the best movie I saw in 2023. I will say the huge hype dampened my enjoyment of it a bit. But I am happy for all the success it had. So in making billions of dollars, I'm happy for that. So don't get me wrong saying like I want this to be like a no budget indie movie where no one makes money. I'm very happy for everybody involved in this project, and I liked it, and it was memorable, and I want to watch it again because I've only seen it once. The Holdovers. Fan of Paul Giamatti and Alexander Payne, especially when they're together in Sideways. And also, one of my favorite movies is Election. This is a great job capturing the 70s movies feel. Like the movie itself takes place in the 70s, and a lot of movies take place in different eras, but this movie felt like it came from that era. Like it was in a time capsule and we just watched it. I really like the bonding of the characters. It's kind of like, you know, a ragtag group of, you know, angry, bitter people get together and they get to become friends. It was really funny and heartfelt. And I think I watched it the day before or after Christmas. I didn't know it was a Christmas movie, and I'm glad I did. And it's Christmas. Divine was divine. Am I the first one that said that? Probably. She's so likable. She's basically the bridge of the movie, and I almost want to say she stole the show. That's why she's winning all these awards. Like, if I want to be their friend, they did a good job. This was a good movie, and I liked it. Killers of the Flower Moon. One of my favorites, of course, is Scorsese, but also it made me want to play Red Dead Redemption 2 immediately. This was very gangster. Felt like robbing a train. This entertained me for 3.5 hours. This is a long movie, and I was entertained the whole time. I was not bored. That is how you make a movie. James Cameron knows how to do this. Martin Scorsese knows how to do this. The entire movie is laid out in the first 5 minutes. You know everything that's about to go down, and it's gonna not be fun, and you're gonna see how it turns out. Where it's kind of like seeing a storm from afar heading towards you. That's how I watched that movie. Robert De Niro is basically the White Devil. He's every senator and congressman and politician right now. He's the one who pillages and rapes America. This is the best role he's had in a long time. It's basically a villainous representation of the unequal capitalistic institutions purposely made to be bent in the favor of white people. It's crazy how he captured that all in this one fucking guy. And I hated him. And Leo represents the dumb puppet idiots who blindly follow the white grifters. Am I talking about MAGA people? Yeah, obviously I am. This man is a puppet. The movie was infuriating but highly entertaining. And I liked it, of course. I liked it a lot. This is very gangster. And we mostly root for the bad guys in Scorsese movies. You know, it's like mobs against mobs or whatever. But not this one. Not this one. De Niro's a horrible person in this movie. Maestro, I'm not sure. Tomato. Saw it was nominated. I liked Bradley Cooper's A Star Is Born, so I was looking forward to this next one. I didn't know who Leonard Bernstein, tomato. I didn't know anything about him. I watched it. It started out interesting. It was a biography. So if I learned something from biography, that means I like it. And it's about the life of Leonard Bernstein, or Bernstein, an American composer who was either bi or gay and married his wife Felicia as his beard. And I learned about Leonard. Nothing earth-shattering happened. I've seen this story over and over again. It's not a bad or good thing. And it's probably important. It felt like scenes from a life. Wasn't that memorable to me, probably because I don't know who he is. And it kind of ended in a whimper, in my opinion. It was meh. Would have rather watched a documentary about him. I didn't understand the need to tell this story this way. That's just me. Maybe if I was a huge fan, it'd be different. Maybe I just wasn't the audience. I will say this dude was an outstanding composer, because afterwards I went on IMDb and I saw the movies he did the music for. So I was like, yeah, you got that, bro. Oppenheimer, whatever, potato. I was really excited to see this one because, as the rest of the world, I'm a Nolan fan like everyone else. Guilty. Inception is in my top 10 favorite movies. Like, I love that movie, and I don't think he'll ever make a movie that I like more than that. Dunkirk was also an unforgettable IMAX experience. I remember walking out of the theater being like, this is the new Stanley Kubrick. Heath Ledger is an iconic Joker. I mean, like, he is the sole reason that I think Dark Knight is a great movie. I was worried about the hype though, just like with Barbie. Didn't know anything about this guy. I'm super embarrassed. I went to Florida public school. That's why. Tenet, I was kind of worried because Tenet was hella confusing. I drove all the way down to a different city, like hours away during the pandemic, to watch Tenet. That was the first Nolan movie I walked out. I'm like, I didn't get it. I don't think I understood it. It was really cool looking. I thought Oppenheimer was good. I did think it was good. It was a little confusing to me with all the time jumps. I didn't know where I was half the time, and I felt stupid for almost knowing nothing about history. I didn't know this. I didn't know the story. I knew nothing. All I know is in World War II, we bombed Hiroshima, and it was a horrific event in our history of the world. I am glad I saw it in IMAX. I actually bought 2 seats, just like I did with Avatar 2. You know, if I'm going to go into a crowded theater, it's going to be me in an empty seat, so I got my left elbow to move up and down. I like this movie. Didn't love it. I probably should see it again, but I thought it was a little overhyped, and it was not my favorite movie of the year. Is it going to win Best Picture? Probably. Don't come after me though, because I had to watch it again, and I didn't say I didn't like it. I do like it. Please don't hate me. I'm not trying to be cool for being part of the opposite crowd. I want to like it as much as everybody else did. I just don't think I got it. Past Lives, one of my favorite movies of the year. It reminded me of Before Sunrise or Linklater, just kind of watching conversations and people in love. It was very simple yet emotionally complex. And yes, I cried, of course. I cry in a lot of movies, but the overall movie and message and vibe of the movie just made me feel good. And it was very open to interpretation. Like, you don't know what these people are thinking when they're talking to each other, and you don't know what they think the other person's thinking. That's why I love watching The Bachelor and all, people in love and social dynamics, is because it's kind of like a game sometimes, and then wanting people to be direct, but you don't know if they're saying what they really mean or feel. You watch arrays of emotions, and I don't know, I like romantic comedies or romance movies that are done well. And of course, I loved it. I'm just a sucker for these type of movies. I want to see it again. And bravo to first-time director Celine Song. Knocked out of the park. This is kind of like Damien, is that his name? The one who did Whiplash, being his first movie. This is how you do it. In fact, it had even some of the same things I love at Whiplash, which is leaving it up to interpretation. I'm looking forward to following her career. I can't wait to fall in love again because I'm single. But I'm not an unhappy single. I'm a happy single though. Poor Things. I was really excited to see this movie, probably because I'm a huge Yorgos fan. I wear a Y on my shirt. Yorgos all day. He's the dude for me. He's also a perfect movie streak director. The other one is Spike Jonze. All his movies are great. So this movie is like being born again as an adult, unaware and free from society's constructs, which, I try to do every day, and I fail. And the vibes are like Frankenstein or Steen and the Island of Dr. Moreau, or Moreau, however you want to say it. Music, it was kind of like Willy Wonka-ish, circusy, funhouse, off-kilter, music box, soundscape that has that whimsically creeping sound. I just felt like I was in a carousel and a snow globe at the same time, and someone's shaking me, and I keep ending up in these weird contraptions. I'm just describing the music. Like I was in some kind of freak circus. Very graphic and sexual, but of course it's Yorgos. You gotta have that. And also very surreal and stylized. I was not expecting the stylized. So that was a fun surprise. It's a fantasy reminiscent of, did I spell that word reminiscent right? Anyways, this is kind of like an old school Tim Burton, a Wes Anderson movie, maybe Terry Gilliam or Gilliam? Is it Gilliam or Gilliam? Or Jean-Pierre Jeunet. I don't know if I said that right, but he's the one who did Amélie and Delicatessen. You remember those movies? Those are awesome. I wish he'd make more movies. It kind of reminds me of movies of his. But I love my Yorgosisms. He always uses like the ultra wide disorienting lenses. His fisheye people shots was a bold move. Some of the cinematography in that movie I'd be too scared to do. It's super dark humor, which you gotta have that from Yorgos, and American actors playing British characters. I feel like everybody in this movie is American and they have an accent. Also very sexual. I should have mentioned, did I mention that? It's very sexual. Strong women, interesting characters. Willem Dafoe, I spelled his name wrong. Willem Dafoe looked like Ron Perlman's face was Frankenstein to his. You get it if you see the movie. Sex positive sexplorations. That's always I mean, I'm into that. And there's lots of sex. Just want to point that out. There's lots of sex in this movie. And of course I liked it because it was one of my favorites of the year. Zone of Interest. I'm a Jonathan Glazer fan, but the synopsis of this movie told me I had to be in the mood to watch this. I could tell it was going to be heavy. All Jonathan Glazer movies are wildly different from each other. I mean, he rarely releases movies either, but he did Sexy Beast, he did Birth, and then he did Under the Skin. This movie was absolutely chilling. It was haunting. It sticks with you long after it's over. It's PG-13, and it's not graphic. In fact, it's the opposite of graphic, and that's what makes it so alarming. And some of you will love it, and some of you won't get it. I can already see people watching this movie's boring. But if you're watching this, I mean, this tells a story by letting you just observe, and it forces you to use your imagination to what's going on behind the scenes. And it only works because of what we know from our history. There are some scenes in this movie that I'll never forget. Zone of Interest is a piece of art. I feel kind of corny saying that, but it is. You could show this, no sound, and you know exactly what's happening in this movie, I think. This is a lesson in filmmaking and directing on simplicity, on how to tell a story, some of the risks he took. I mean, this is shot from cold, wide view, almost kind of a verte style. So you kind of feel like sometimes you're watching a documentary, a boring documentary, or a reality show, where it's just the camera's on, and you're just watching things happen. It's unique storytelling choices I've never seen before in a movie, and I loved it. It made me feel very uncomfortable and helpless with simple stationary images. It still haunts me to this day. Some of the scenes and pictures, just like a frame of it, a still of it, I'll never forget. Never. I want to watch this again. At the same time, I never want to watch this again. And that's a wrap. The end. Goodbye.